Hi there. Let me get this to work.
Say again.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome. I gotta start over. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. You know me, Kaylee McMahon with the Apartment Queen. And today we have a really awesome guest that I'm excited to have her introduce herself, Pili Yarusi. And I'll have her introduce herself. I can't do it justice. Go ahead, Pili.
Hi, everyone. I am Pili Yarusi. I am a multifamily syndicator, owner-operator, mostly out of Tennessee and Kentucky. And I have 3 kids. I have 2 bulldogs and an awesome husband, and I'm loving life. Is that good?
It's perfect. Oh my God. Very simple. Like you don't identify with your job as who you are, which is what I got out of that, which is awesome.
I kind of stopped doing that. I don't know if you want to talk a little about mindset there, because that's not who we are. We're women. We rock at what we do in multifamily, but that's not exactly who I am.
Yep, it's just something fun you do, I guess.
Exactly.
So what we normally talk about on the show or on the podcast, and we're going to change it a little bit today because you have so much expertise in capital raising, and I could talk about it all day, but I'd rather have our audience learn from another perspective than mine. So when it comes to syndicating deals, I don't know if you've only done syndications or like tenants in common or JVs or all the things, but really capital raising, because you are a badass at what you do. And I think talking about syndicating, raising funds, period, however you do it, I'd like to dig into how you do it and some of the pros and cons of doing it.
So first of all, I am a syndicator. I've not done any JVs. I've not done any funds. Not yet. I'm looking into fund structures, but that's a whole nother section of fundraising, and I don't know how to do that. But before I jump into that, I'm not an SEC attorney. I'm not your CPA. I had to say that just in case somebody's listening. So that's one of the rules when you are capital raising, and I honestly hate that term, but it is what we do. I believe in providing opportunity. So investing, I mean, you know this, Kaylee. Investing starts with the person. The deal can be the best deal ever, but if you invest with a sponsor that doesn't take care of the deal correctly, that deal's just going to blow up. So I invest with people first, whether it is other investment sponsors or even investors. I invest in my investors. So that's kind of the mindset I have around capital raising. I don't, like, even saying the term like makes my stomach funny. I provide opportunity.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You're 100% right. And I think that if any woman is listening to this, right now, and you're going to raise any funds, that's the mindset you have to have. I've got some people on my team that's what I have to keep reinforcing, is that you don't understand that without the opportunities that we spend, I don't know, 6 months to a year to go dig up and find and doing it full time and babysitting the deal and all that, they wouldn't be able to get those double-digit returns and then triple digits on sale. That doesn't exist with what's out there for everybody to invest in. So you're 1,000% right. And then even I've had to change the language of investors. I don't call them investors anymore. I call them partners. All of them.
Perfect.
I just say, hey, partners, we have this issue, or hey, partners, we have this going on, because they need to understand that we all shoulder the same risk. I mean, even if legally I take more risk than they do, which is the hard part, we're in this together,
I love that mindset. I'm actually going to take that from you.
Good.
By all means, take the providing opportunity, because I'm going to take your partners now. To all my investors that are listening to this, because I know you are now my partner. You're no longer an investor. You're my partner. You're my friend. I completely believe it. I am originally from Hawaii, so I believe in the ohana means family. You know that cartoon? I create family. So my partners, my investors, the people I work with, my team, everybody that I touch becomes family to me. That's how I treat them. That's how I conduct my business. That's how I provide opportunity, is through that family system, through communication, through just making sure that I am the right person for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, 1,000%, because I'm definitely not for everyone. My Women Forward initiatives and things like that, we all have our niche of what we do differently. And so there's some people that it's going to rub the wrong way, or they question trying to label me or call me names or whatever. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. You can go invest with Brad Summerall. Like, you don't invest with me. That's fine. you know.
Who's calling you names, Kaylee? Because I need names.
We'll cover that.
Offline. That's for offline. Okay.
I get these random messages from men all the time, that are just, they want to call me names, and I'm like, well, so I'll CC my admin and I'll say, well, it looks like, Bob is going to be taken off our investor list, and I'll put it to both of them. I'm saying, okay, you can go invest somewhere else. You're 100% right. You're the opportunities.
Like you said before, we are not for everyone. The way we invest, and that's why I like to have conversations with my investors, even those like, I guess, Bob, who doesn't want to invest with you, apparently. I don't know why, but I want.
That's the thing. He's got fear of missing out. He's got FOMO, and that's why he had that reaction, because he's like, well, I can't get into the female fund, is I think what's going on up there. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It happens. But like we said, let's take it back to, we are not for everyone. That's why we have, okay, let's take this all the way back to somebody who is watching this, listening to this, and doesn't know what we're talking about. So how we started like with our first deal, we went to friends and family. But the thing is, and people are like, well, how do you talk to your friends and family? Because they don't know what you're doing. Exactly. You tell them what you're doing even before you're doing it. So when you're in the throes of learning what you're doing, like talk to everybody about what you're doing, put together a mock deal, the deal that you want, the market that you want to go to, the asset class you want to go to, have all this information and just start talking about it. Find ways to insert into conversations, and doesn't have to be like overt, but just tell people, this is what I'm doing. And if they ask, oh, I want to learn more about that, schedule a meeting and have a deep down conversation on it. That's how we talked to our friends and family about it. We kind of got them ready for that deal, for that day that we got that deal. And then once you have that deal and you have like your momentum going, you have your investor base going, that's when you dig in deep and you still keep on talking about what you're doing. I mean, that's really what I do all the time. I just talk and I tell people what I'm doing, and I start adding people to my investor list. So what the investor list that I'm talking to you about, now we have an investor portal that we use with InvestNext. But yes, this is awesome.
Brad's awesome. Yeah.
But did you start with InvestNext? Probably not.
No, we had for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I had Google Sheets.
Yeah.
Google Sheets. And we had everybody, like anybody that we could think of that we could provide this opportunity to. We would list them, list how we knew them, list their contact information, and list like all the times we talked about it with them. You're going to need this if you do a 506B, B as in buddy. It's just a way to syndicate a deal. And you're going to need that. So just in case the SEC starts asking, you can tell them, this is how I know this person. But it's also good for you just to have that base as to like, okay, let's use Bob again. Oh, Bob, I met him at this conference. That's how he got into my system. I've had this conversation with him. Oh, so maybe that's why he looks at the fund, doesn't think that he can invest, and got a little bit peeved about it. So maybe you can switch it around to something that, an investor, a partner that you might be able to use in the future. But again, maybe not, because now you're going to have that conversation. And it sounded, unfortunately, that was a one-way conversation. But say you have a conversation with him down the road and you get to talk to him about it. And you're like, well, you know what? You might not be for this fund that I'm creating, but I know XYZ fund that my friend Joe is doing over here, or I know Peely with the syndication over here that I might be able to introduce you to. It comes down to communication, though. When it comes down to raising money, I believe it's all about constant communication, or unfortunately setbacks like Bob will happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. Part of it. Would you walk us through a little bit of when you first started syndicating deals? So, obviously I can vouch for this myself. When you get started, you may have some track record in single family, you may have some track record in Airbnb or whatever it is, or maybe even nothing in real estate, but you've bought and sold corporate businesses and mergers and acquisitions. I don't know. but everyone has some kind of professional background where they understand how money is managed, they understand how the economy works for the most part, and then they're like, okay, I want to get into syndicating an apartment deal or syndicating real estate in general, say commercial real estate. How would you go about, or how did you, because usually I could apply from, what I know and what I did, but it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. Finding the ability to have a team and finding the ability to have other people vouch for you, finding, like, how do you start establishing some kind of track record to get going when you start reaching out to brokers, you start reaching out to people that have money or whatever, for them to go, oh, okay, we know that you have some guidance and some experience.
So Jason, my husband and I started off, well, we were bartenders. A few years ago, we were bartenders. I mean, that's really simplifying it. We own a restaurant in New York City that we're now silent partners on. Jason had a brewery that he has since sold, and he is, again, a silent partner in that too. So he has, and we have entrepreneurial businesses and background, but we were bartending for a long time. So we jumped from, okay, let's go back to 2013. We were running a bar, we were managing the bar, and Hurricane Sandy happened around that time. I think it was actually ending of 2012.
Oh.
Our family lifts homes. So I'm going to try and make this story quick. So our family lifts homes. We actually take flood ravaged homes, we lift them up, and we put a new foundation, and that's what we do. We're house lifters. So that's what got us into flipping homes, because we thought to ourselves, we can do this. We can flip the homes this way. I got my real estate license. We started flipping homes that way. Nobody told us that doing a large scale project like that was going to take nine months to a year. And, with house flippers, and when you get into wholesaling, it's all about the turnaround. You want to do as many as you can in the year. We didn't know that going through. So we learned, we got into regular flipping, we got into wholesaling, and we got into a mentorship program. And the reason why I'm going back into this mentorship program, because this is how we built up our credibility. We built from having our really amazing construction company, we got into real estate. I got my license, we got into wholesaling and flipping, and the next step seemed to be buy and hold. So we got these 2 duplexes in Indiana, and we could have scaled that. The ROI was phenomenal. It was like in the 22%. But Jason had a discussion with someone, and I am very risk adverse. I'm the risk adverse person out of my husband and I.
Yeah, women usually are.
Yeah. So I'm I guess atypical when it comes to that. Although I did bring our first those 2 duplexes in Indiana. I brought those to the table. So the numbers just work. So it wasn't really that risky.
Yeah.
So Jason brings large multifamily to the table. He's like, well, if we can do 2 duplexes in Indiana, why can't we do 20, 30, 50, 100, 500? My brain basically implodes, because I'm like, no, I'm pregnant with our second child at the time. We have this amazing flipping and wholesaling business that we had finally taken from like low 5 figures to like upwards 6 figures, like almost beating the 7-figure mark. I think we got it to like 900 something thousand. Like if I rounded it up, we could say 7 figures, but we'll keep it at 6. And we were doing really good there, but we wanted to do more. And we knew that flipping and wholesaling, that's a job. We were in it. Like I was stressing out so much. This white hair isn't from my children, it's from real estate. Exactly. It's not my children. I love my children. My children don't give me white hair. It's all the other people. Anywho, so we start learning about large multifamily. And the thing is, we already had a basis on real estate. When it comes to multifamily terms, it's just kind of like a small level up. It's a lot of education, and we found a mentor. That, again, it brings us back to our flipping, our flipping journey. Our flipping journey took about 3 years. In the course of 6 months, we went from not knowing anything about multifamily to taking down our first large multifamily, which was a 94 unit in Louisville, Kentucky in early 2017.
Nice.
And the reason why I mentioned the flipping bit, it's not until after the first year of a lot of hardship in the flipping industry that we finally took on our first mentor, which was 7-figure flipping. And that skyrocketed us. It still took us some years to build up because we were very hard-headed, didn't want to let go of what we knew how to do and do it the easy way.
Same.
So once we got into large multifamily, we're just like, we're finding a mentor. We're doing exactly what he says. And obviously it worked because it took us 6 months. And we've actually since exited that property, another long story, but we exited it in the span of 2 years, I think. Everything's on our website. It's the Norbrook project. If any of your listeners want to go take a look at that, we have all the numbers. Everything's there. It was a great project. We did really well on it. But it was because we found a mentor and we did exactly what that person said to do. So in that journey, I learned how I talk to people, because I hate saying this because I am a salesperson, but I never thought I was.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not really sales. Yes, it's sales, but it's not at the same time. You are providing opportunity. It's almost your duty to do this for your friends and family and those people that you meet. If you want to help them, then you want to make them money. You want to make them legacy wealth so that they can take care of their families. I mean, nobody's gonna disagree with me on that, right? So that's how I think when I talk with people. How can I help them? And there are going to be those people, we've already talked about this, Kaylee, that we're not going to be able to help. The Bobs and the Georges and the Janes of this world may not want or need to invest in what we have. Maybe they want that quick turnaround. Maybe they want to go to a flipper. But the thing is, if you have that conversation with them, you can still provide opportunity to them, because now I can say, oh, you want a quicker turnaround? Here, I want you to talk to my friend Bill or my friend Chad or my friend Mary or my friend so-and-so that I know in that industry. So no matter what you're doing, you might not raise the capital for whatever project or deal that you have, but you are still helping them by using your network, and it will become extensive for anyone who's like, I don't have a network. You get in here, you start talking to people, you start letting them know that you're a good person, you're a hard worker, you're willing to put the hours into learning how to do this correctly. You're going to build that network. And for anybody who thinks that they don't have a network, I challenge you. I bet that you do. You just don't know it yet because you haven't learned to ask the right questions.
Right. What would be, if you were reaching out to your network of pre-existing friends and family for the first time, what would be, because I have my spiel, but again, hearing it from somebody else, maybe phrasing it a different way, what would you put in an email? What would you send everybody that you know from maybe past jobs? Like, oh, I used to be a real estate agent, or I used to do this. What would you reach back out with?
Honestly, my way is really, really, I've been told it's kind of long and arduous, and like there's easier ways to do it. Because yes, you can write that email. And I would suggest for anyone that's listening to this, ask Kaylee how she writes that email, because my email is usually really short. I'm just like, for instance, my cousin Kay Howe, she just got into real estate. She's a real estate agent in on the Big Island in Hawaii. And she just told me that she has 8 other agents that are looking to get into OZ zones and into syndications. I was like, okay, let's have a discussion. But I was like, first, let's you and I talk. So that conversation would have gone, like, for the first email would have been like, hey, Kehao, I want to talk to you a little bit what I'm doing in real estate. You want to hop on a call? And I would hop on a call with them, because the thing is, with an email, yes, you can get a lot of information out there. Yes, you can hook them. You can tell them your story. You can get all the juicy information and get them to like go into your funnel, yada, yada, yada. But for me, it's the connection with like voice to voice, person to person, that I want to make sure that they have with me, because I want them to know exactly who and what they're investing in. So for my cousin Kehao, she's family. So I'm just like, I laid it all out for her. I was like, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And I talked to her about her needs. Like, actually, a lot of the conversation was about her as a real estate agent and what she's doing and what deals has she closed and how she's doing. Like, I didn't ask her this, but it came out in the conversation, like how she's doing financially. Mm-hmm. Like, does she have the funds to invest in a deal with me? Because if she doesn't, I don't want to ask her, because she's going to feel like she's almost less than, that she can't maybe, or that maybe she'll have to work harder, or I don't know, but I want to make sure that the person or the possible investor, possible partner leads
Yeah,
the conversation, not me. Like, I'm secondary.
that's a good idea. So would you do both? Because like I'm not calling 2,000 people. I'm just gonna put
No,
it there. Like say an
no.
email, say let's set up a call. Here's my number or whatever.
Yes. So I'm not going down my list, my extensive list of all my partners,
Yeah.
all the investors. They get the email. Okay. So for instance, if I have a deal,
Yeah.
they get that email saying, we currently have yada yada deal. Here's all the stats. Here's the deck. If you have any questions, let's set up a call. So but those are for people that know what I'm doing.
Right.
Other people, and then you have those people that you source in that come in from, like, I'm on Clubhouse, so people find me on Clubhouse, they DM me, they're like, can we get on a call? I'm like, sure. And we get on a call, but I'm not calling everybody that I see on Clubhouse.
Right.
So it's kind of like a fine line. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. I've been told the same thing. Like I said before, when I started this whole thing, one of my mentors are just like, you do what? You talk to how many people a day? I'm just like, yeah, why not? What else am I going to do? I guess there's a lot of stuff I could be doing, but that's what I love to do. I love talking to people. So
Well, that's why you're so good at what you do. You know what I mean? What I really enjoy is, it's not like I don't enjoy talking to people, but I think I get, like, if I go to a conference, I get really kind of beat down. Like like my mouth gets tired and like my throat gets tired and I want to go take a nap. I just physically get get tired. Maybe it's because I talk too much or like say too many details instead of being more succinct and being more focused on, hey, what's your name, Kaylee? Just simple answer kind of thing. But if that's what you enjoy doing, during my day, I enjoy going out to meet brokers, seeing if I can figure out with them what they need, But anyway, and touring deals and being able to be a part of the renovations, that's my jam. So that's why you're great at what you do.
I apologize.